Hey everyone, there is a new episode of my Patreon exclusive podcast, Maybe You Can Relate, available now to the patrons of the Rural Woman podcast. You can get access to this full episode, plus extended episodes and patron-only episodes of the Rural Woman podcast when you join the patron community over on Patreon at tier 10 or higher. Here's your sneak peek of the new Maybe You Can Relate episode. Hey folks, I'm Caitlin Dubin. You may know me from such podcasts as the Rural Woman podcast, which you happen to be a proud member of the Patreon community, which is why you are hearing me through your earbuds right now. I'm coming to you from behind the mic in the Rural Woman podcast studio for this exclusive patron-only podcast to share with you a bit more about me, my personal life, our farm, my family, the wins, the struggles, really just a little bit of everything. I wanted to create a space to share my story with a more intimate audience to build a stronger connection. My goal here is to share about the things I've learned, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And maybe, just maybe, you can relate. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of my solo podcast, Maybe You Can Relate, episode number 24, the one about the game of harvest. My friends, it is harvest, and the whole inspiration around this episode is harvest. However, before we get to that, let's go over and catch up with all of the things. Needless to say, I was not prepared. I feel like this is my 9th harvest, and I say this every time. I'm not prepared. I don't know what I'm doing. And it's funny, I had posted on my Instagram story that harvest was here, and I was not prepared. And I received a response from my friend Stacy Bronick, who is down in Montana. Stacy sent me a note saying that I was going to enjoy her essay that was being published the next day. And I actually did something a little bit different for today's episode of Maybe You Can Relate. Typically, it's just me on here, but I asked Stacy, I begged and pleaded for her if we could use this essay that she wrote to share with you. So we are going to play the audio. Stacy went ahead and recorded it for us, so we get to hear Stacy reading her essay all about the game of harvest.
The Game of Harvest, Farm Wife Edition, written and read by me, Stacy Bronick. For your whole life, you'll think of dinner as, well, just dinner. Growing up, it's a meal gathered around the table with your family or dinner with your extended family on holidays. As you get older, it looks like dinner out with friends, boyfriends, your fiancé, and finally your husband. Dinner isn't seen as a game, but it is when you're a farmer's wife. It's a game you didn't know existed, but has been waiting for you in all its complicated glory to roll the dice and play. The game you didn't know existed was, will I be cooking dinner for the harvest crew tonight or not? It's not a board game or a card game, just a fridge full of food and anxiety. That's it. Anyone can play. The first rule is that there are no rules. This game is seasonal, and for farmers in Montana, it takes place between July and August with no official start or end date. Adjust the game according to your crops and location. For example, corn farmers in the Midwest begin play in September. Wheat farmers in Texas begin in May. There are 2 versions of the game. The beginner version is eating dinner with the crew at your house, while the advanced version includes making dinner and then delivering it hot to the field. The fields vary from less than a mile from home to 35 gravel miles from your house. More on the levels of play later. When the wheat turns golden yellow and your husband's nerves match the heat, you'll know it's almost time. The first step is to stock your supplies to play: paper plates, plastic silverware, napkins, paper towels, and canned goods. Next, create a list of meals to cook, including your tried and true favorites from past harvests, such as baked spaghetti, meatball subs, tacos in a bag, Swiss steaks, oven burgers, as well as a few new recipes. This is the part of the game that gets tricky: when to buy the groceries. You don't want to buy too soon because you don't want the food to go to waste. However, if you wait too long, you'll be staring down 12 to 15 people expecting dinner and you'll have nothing. This is when anxiety joins the game. Oh, I forgot to mention you can play in pairs or by yourself, your choice. The other caveat is you live 50 miles from town, so a quick trip to the grocery store isn't in the cards. No pun intended. On a random Tuesday, your husband will say, "I think we'll be able to start harvesting in the next couple of days." You knew this day was coming, but you never know for sure when it's actually going to arrive. You nod, knowing you've played this game before, 11 seasons and counting. But anxiety never misses a chance to join and puts her cards on the table, and you question whether you remember how to play. You glance over your list of meals, trying to decide how many harvest dinners you should order groceries for. 2 nights? 3? This part can stress players out. Will the crew be able to harvest for multiple days in a row? Will they be able to harvest at all? You make a bold choice by deciding on 3 dinners and then adding the ingredients to your grocery store app. You place the order and make the drive to town to pick it up. After filling the back of your SUV, you head back home. The day finally arrives and you watch the combines leave your yard and feel a bit of excitement since it's been a year since you played. And while anxiety never leaves your side, she always wants to play and no one ever knows why. She's such a disaster. She lets you take the lead, for now. After the combines are gone, you begin preparations, thawing the hamburger, making a cake for dessert, baking cookies for the freezer, and keeping a close eye on the clock. By noon, you know that the wheat might not be dry enough to cut, and you could be sent back to start, but you keep playing until you hear otherwise. Shortly after noon, your husband calls, and you know he's likely calling about your next move. After exchanging pleasantries, he says, "We can't cut, it's still too wet. No dinner tonight." You knew this was a possibility, and you're grateful you didn't start cooking yet. You decide to treat yourself with a glass of iced coffee and relax, since the game is over for today, or so you think. Around 3 p.m., your husband calls again. "We'll be back in the yard around 5:30. Could the guys eat at the house?" Take a deep breath and decide your next move. A. Hang up the phone and pretend you didn't hear him. B. Threaten his life. C. Chug your iced coffee and put your game face on. Since this isn't your first time playing, you decide on a move you wouldn't have attempted years ago, a double play, B and C. This isn't your husband's first time playing either, and without missing a beat, he counters your move with, "I love you." When your glass of iced coffee is empty, remind yourself that you and your husband are on the same team. He's playing his version of the harvest game. He's not trying to make you lose. It's just how the game goes. Even though you weren't expecting a timed round this early in the game, you roll with it and quickly make 2 pans of lasagna with the hamburger you thawed out this morning and throw the pans into the oven. At 5:30 p.m., you exhale, you beat the clock, and the bonus is that you were able to stay in the beginner version of the game. The crew arrives at the house eating dinner in lawn chairs in your garage instead of dinner in the field. When the crew goes back to the table for seconds, anxiety momentarily leaves the game and allows pride to play as your partner instead. You lean back in your chair, at ease. You made it through the first round. Each day, you text your husband mid-morning, asking him about the odds of dinner in the field that night, not wanting to play your cards too soon. You threaten his life a few more times when the decision is back and forth all day, but he calls your bluff. After the first week or 2 of play, it becomes less of a guessing game, i.e., your husband usually won't call 2 hours before 5 o'clock to say dinner is off. The first rounds of the game are the most challenging, but it becomes easier and more predictable as the game progresses. Eventually, you'll only play the advanced version of the game, delivering dinner to the field. This is also when you get to play more often with pride as your partner than with anxiety. It is no small feat to win this part of the game. When you run out of meals to cook, return to your list and pick a handful of dinners to serve next. During this portion of the game, you can often plan 4 or 5 meals at a time, lessening your trips to town. Add the ingredients to the app and repeat the earlier steps. Throughout the coming weeks, the weather will be an obstacle, causing rain delays mid-game. With each rainstorm, you'll pray there's no hail that could destroy your crops. Other obstacles include childcare, there is none, solo parenting, difficulty making plans, and loneliness. There will still be days when plans change at the last minute, but with less regularity. The game goes round and round, evening after evening, as you take dinner to the field each night. Anxiety will come and go as your partner, and even though you've played this game many times, you still haven't figured out the trick to playing without her. Bonuses to the game include, but aren't limited to, watching the sunset over the wheat fields, pride in witnessing a year's worth of hard work completed, delight in knowing your hot meal provides a welcome break to the crew's 12 to 15-hour workdays, occasional rides in the combine with your husband, with or without children, and seeing your son drive a combine. The game continues until the last field is harvested, which will happen sometime in late August, final date undetermined. The end of the game is marked by a sigh of relief as the final load of grain makes it safely into the bin, and you can put the game away until next summer. An abridged version is available to play during planting seasons.
You can help support the stories of women in agriculture to be shared through the Rural Woman podcast on Patreon. What is Patreon? It's a membership-based platform that helps fund and support creators like me to create and produce content like this that you all love. New to the Rural Woman podcast Patreon is ad-free listening and patron-only bonus content and exclusive episodes. Learn more and join the patron gang today at patreon.com/The Rural Woman Podcast. Thanks for listening to the Rural Woman Podcast. The Rural Woman Podcast is more than just a podcast. We are a community. A huge thank you to the Rural Woman Podcast team, audio editor Max Hofer, and a special thanks to our Patreon executive producers, Sarah Riedner from Happiness by the Acre. To learn how you can become a Patreon executive producer or other ways to financially support the show, head on over to wildrosefarmer.com to learn more. Be sure to hit the follow or subscribe button wherever you listen to the podcast to get the latest episodes directly on your playlist. And if you are loving the show, please be sure to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or any other platform that accepts ratings and reviews. You can connect with us on social media at the Rural Woman Podcast and with me at Wild Rose Farmer. One of the best ways you can support the show is by sharing it. Send this episode to a friend or share on your social media. Let's strengthen and amplify the voices of women in agriculture together. Until next time, my friend, keep sharing your story.